Has anyone ever stolen any of your sounds? Have you ever seen any of your sounds in any other games and you were like, hey, that was my sound?
No. I mean, I know it happens.
Yeah, well, yeah, it happened at a company. I worked at this company called Papyrus a billion years ago. It was my first job in the game industry. And it was a car, they made racing games, they made NASCAR racing. And they mic'd they actually went to NASCAR garages and mic'd the engines. This was in 1995, but they were such sticklers with accuracy.
There was a sound.
I don't remember who did that, but this was like 1995.
Papyrus.
They went and did that. It was based out of Boston. And this game came out, I think it was called Screamer. This game came out, I think Virgin put it out. And I remember we got to the office because we would play every car game. And immediately one of the developers was like, that's our engine sound. And I'm like, really? And he's like, nobody would, that's accurate. We mic'd it. It's 1995. Nobody's doing this.
It's easier to catch then. That's my first thought was, God, there's so much out there. I don't even know.
And so they actually sued them. And it's funny because years ago, Retro Gamer did an article on this game. And I actually tweeted at the guy and was like, yo, did they tell you about the sound issue? Because it was a memory that I never verified, but I remember when it happened. And they went and asked the developer. The developer did confirm that, yes, that actually did happen. And there was some settlement or something. But it was just kind of, back then, sounds were so unique. Yeah. You could be like, they stole my sound. Nowadays, I'm not really sure you can do that.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, there's ways to unpack, game files and get the contents out of pack files.
Yeah. Back in 95, these were just loose WAV files.
Right. You wouldn't even do that back then. Yeah. But, I've heard stories of other ways of stealing. I don't even want to say it to get people ideas,
we don't have to.
There's all sorts of ways to get sounds.
But I mean, I was just curious because that story was one of my earliest game development scenarios that I encountered, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
I think another thing that's similar is there are people. Were we talking about this last week? There's people that get really obsessed with kind of deconstructing how their favorite games' iconic sounds were designed, and I'm already forgetting what game was being discussed, but there was a particular weapon, like a firearm in a game that somebody kind of made. Sorry, I touched the mic. There's somebody listened to the sound and then supposedly figured out what each component of the sound was. It was like a shotgun blast. So they listened. They're like, that sounds like thunder. So they found a bit of thunder. And they demonstrated each layer of the sound and played each layer separately, and then they played it together, and it did. It sounded just like the weapon, but then I guess the guy that actually designed the sound said, "No, that's not how I made it." But that's the cool thing about sound is that there's no one way to get things that you need. Sometimes you don't need the actual thing. As I said.
You don't need you can indeed make sounds of things that don't.
Also, we live in a world now where there are so many sound libraries out there. There are so many.
Yeah.
It's really when I started, it was the 6000 series.
The 6000.
Hollywood Edge.
Yeah.
And we would record stuff on DAT. Go do field recordings on DAT machines. There weren't even CF, compact flash recorders.
Oh yeah, we had those. And so I bought the 6000 25 years ago, and I still get emails all the time asking me to buy
from Sound Ideas.
Yeah, they're just very persistent.